Good day everyone. Today on the bench I'm going to tie up my Sculpin fly. Here's a nice little fly here. I've tied it so it rides upright. The hook's upright and won't snag on the bottom. Got a lot of weight. It's also light enough to, I can strip that along. It behaves quite nicely in the water. Here's the materials we need to tie the fly. We're going to use a Gamakatsu SP11. This is a 3/8 3X heavy saltwater perfect bend. Basically why I selected this hook, you can use comparable hooks, but you're going to need a straight eye hook because we're going to be using the fish skull Sculpin helmets. These are very, very nice. They come with the eyes that you can glue right on the top and cement them in, or I'll put some UV resin on top to hold mine in. The tail, I'm going to use some olive Marabou. The body, I'm going to wrap that with some cross-cut rabbit. This is black tip, gives it a nice appearance. And also in following that rabbit strips, I'm going to put some UV polar chenille in with it, pearl. And that gives it a nice kind of a shiny appearance that these Sculpin do have. They're kind of slicky looking minnows. And then for the fins, I'm going to use a couple of quills here from the pheasant rump. Okay, so let's get a hook in the vise and tie one of these up. I'm going to use some 6/0 black thread to tie with. You can use 3/0. I usually start back here. I leave enough of my about eye length back free there. I don't start any thread closer to that because I need that area to put my fish skull in from the front. Okay, we get our thread base in there. Now, really important part is selecting good Marabou for streamer flies. There's a lot of this really nice blood quill here, which I would use for other purposes. I want some nice soft quill. I'm going to search for the right Marabou for the tail. I want some nice soft but fluffier type Marabou. And just go through your patches and select. There's a pretty good one right there. You can get the woolly bugger Marabou as well. It's really, there's another really soft one. Let me just look and see if I can find another one. Usually 2 is good. Here's that's got the tips cut off it. It's no good. And then this is perfect. That's the kind of Marabou I like for the tail right there. The rivers, I use shorter, really breathable Marabou that can pulsate. I'm going to put the tips, line them up together. It doesn't really swim as much, it just basically pulsates. It's about shank length. And get some good turns on that. Come forward with their stems. It's going to be quite thick. Turns underneath. Now that soft Marabou will really pulsate in the water to look really good. It's always take a little time selecting your materials, and it pays off dividends. Okay, then we'll get into our body. So what I want to do is I like the cross cut because it wraps a lot better than the zonkers for hackle. And I tie it with the hide up and the hair to the back. When I start wrapping, my hair will want to go around properly. Now to go along with that hair, I want some sheen and make it look a little slimy, so this polar flash works really good. And if you remember our friend, our little gal, Annika Jurgensen from years ago, she's all grown up now, but I remember when I met her and taught her a few things, went over to their house to help her learn some fly tying tips and techniques and so forth. But anyway, long story short, before I left, I ended up learning something from her. That's the nice thing about tying flies. You can learn just as much from newcomers as you can, you think you have all the experience, but she taught me this, or showed me this about the polar flash in with the hair. She's seen that somewhere or figured it out or whatever, but it's a really nice technique, and I'm just going to bring that polar flash in with the hair as we go forward, and you see how it's just kind of blending in with the body. That's a great way of doing it, and I do thank Annika for showing me that. And like I said, it's sometimes, so I just run that together with the hair up, and I just kind of fold it back as we go, and gives it just enough in there. And we don't want to wrap this fly any tighter than about right there. Now we want to keep this to a minimum here, and I want to make sure I get these butts, have this hide of this rabbit tied down good and solid. And you can put head cement on this right now if you like to. But you see that body, and that polar flash is showing through that hair just enough to give it a little glint. And boy, does that ever breathe in the water nice. That is a super good body there for sure. Alright, so now we're going to tie in our little fins on the front, which are quite predominant on the Sculpin. Let's take a couple of our plumes from our flank, or the skin off the pheasant rump. Tie one on each side. Lots of turns. I got 6/0, so I can give her lots of turns. Keep that head nice and tied in. Looks pretty good. These can stand out a little bit if you want. That's good if they do. Now, I want to check my fish skull here at this point, see if it'll go over. Yes, it will. Okay, you want to make sure that that'll got room to get in there. Now you can use different glues. The people from Flyman products, and you'll see a lot of these skulls, they'll put them on, they'll glue them on, and then they'll put some red thread ahead of them. What I found that works very well, and I use it a lot, is marine goop. I put all the flies, or the eyes, on my big streamers, my big saltwater streamers and that type of thing, with marine goop. It is really dries nice. I get a little bit of something underneath so it doesn't get all over my table or all over anything. And then I'll come in with my vodka needle here, just grab a little bit of the goop. The top of it might get a little bit thick. You don't want that. And underneath here, yeah, this is nice. Little better, little thinner right there, and I'm just going to lay it around on my thread right there. And this is good stuff. I always keep lots on my boat too. That be amazing what you can do with this, but I find it really works well to put those eyes on bait fish. Now I got my hook down. One thing you want to remember is these Flyman eyes, they can, oh, I dropped it, excuse me. Okay, I'm back. Is the weight, there's more weight on this side, and you want that will ride upright, so we want to make sure that the heavy weight is down, and I'll just push that on. It's in position, and that'll dry right there. And it is not going anywhere. That marine goop will fill in all those, the void in behind there. It'll stay solid. You don't need to put the thread on the front to hold it. If you have a little bit of if you want to check, make sure you don't have any in the eye. You can run a feather through there. Just run a stem of a feather to clean it out. And I got my stem's a little heavy here, but That will clean out the eye in case you're concerned about that. Or you can take your vodka needle and make sure that's all clean. And that'll take your tippet. But that is a great fly. It catches a lot of fish, got a lot of movement, rides upright, won't snag. And the Sculpin dive and dart, and they dive a lot. So this weighted head works really good. That's why I don't weight the body. I want it to have more of a jigging motion, and I get a really nice swing on that too when I get it down where I want to and get it tight in the banks. And this fly has produced a lot of really nice fish for us. So pretty easy to tie, and it's a good one. Take that with you. There's olive Sculpin right there. You can tie them in brown too, but olives, predominantly the dark olive's the way to go. Thanks for watching Sports Fishing on the Fly, and we'll catch you again on the bench.
To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one showing, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.